Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. It's been a while since I've done one of these quick thoughts on comics. Of course I did a Superman 101, Superman Reborn 101 video. So you should check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. Any questions? Because if it wasn't very clear, if I talk too fast and you might have missed something, just let me know and I'll answer your questions. Uh, right now, I'm sweating. It's really hot here. We have 29 degrees Celsius at this moment, and this room is uncomfortably warm. Uh, but I'll try to get through with this videos. I have a very nice stack of books right here. Very nice stack. With something rather unexpected, I think. At least you might think it's unexpected because I usually there's a book of a certain company which I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with. We'll get to it in a moment. So I'll start off with Ancient Comics 978. So I already talked about this book in the context of the Superman Reborn story, but also this issue and the last issue is also setting up the next arc with the new Superman Revenge Squad. So we learned that the mysterious person who contacted last issue, Metallo and Blank, and who contacts the Eradicator in this issue is Hank Henshaw, the original Superman, which with this issue has been reestablished as being the original Cyborg, though we still have Sorrell as the current Cyborg Superman. But he doesn't show up as the Cyborg. He shows up as a being of pure energy. Kind of. He looks like you might think of the computer signals, which would be the most precise way of referring to him, which is kind of consistent with the original Henshaw, because he actually was more of information, like a consciousness after he died, who could possess machinery and reshape it. That's how he became the cyborg Superman, and how he controlled that engine that destroyed Coast City during the death of Superman back in the 90s. So this little group is shaping up to face Superman. Next issue, we are told they will be recruiting Mongols. So so after this crazy reborn stuff, we're going back to a more normal Superman adventure. Next up, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 19. It's the part 2 of the story called Prism of Time. So last issue, Rib Hunter shows up wearing a Green Lantern ring. This issue, we actually learned that Rib Hunter, about 30 years or so, had contacted the Green Lantern Corps, and we learned that in the future there is no more Green Lantern Corps. On the other hand, the person that actually Rib Hunter is looking for was like the last Yellow Lantern, and he wants to destroy the Green Lantern Corps because the Sinestro Corps ends as they join fully as part of the Green Lanterns. So it's a crazy time traveling adventure Not really much happened between last issue and this issue, I have to say. I still pretty much feels like setup for like the bigger story, so it's kind of moving slowly. But it's cool to see Rip Hunter back in the main DCU. And just pretty much that. Slash number 21. Part 2 of the button. A story arc, crossover, an event that I don't think will do much to moving the overall rebirth story, like Reborn, and I mentioned that in that video. The button just picks up on a couple of plot points from the special. So as for the mystery of the button, I don't think we'll get much out of it. We might actually probably get the JSA back. We know in issue 22 we've been teased that J. Garrick may return, so and before that in this book we've also been teased about his return. It seems that in issue 22 the cover and everything sort of shows that he's fully back. But I think in the overall plot point of the mystery of the button and the whole Watchmen thing, I don't think we'll get much out of it. Like I said, maybe the JSA returns. But in this issue, back to this issue, we know that Thawne died when he touched the button and gave Batman a beating. So now Barry wants to go and trace the energy that the button seems to have, and that he actually found in Thawne as well. Actually, he also found the fact that maybe that the death of Reverse Flash might have actually happened or will happen because Barry detected part of his Speed Force within Thawne. So that's another interesting point that's returning. We actually do get effect from the Reborn when he goes to the Hall of Justice. Barry goes to the Justice League, not the Hall of Justice, the Watchtower. There's this hall with a bunch of things that his events, like the old deities, Justice League. We have the Martian Manhunter's uniform. We got the Book of Destiny there. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't really part of the New 52. We got the Blue Beetle's bug, his ship. So it does seem that Reborn, its effects in a much smaller scale have started to leak into the other books. I think the Blue Beetle also has teases of Last Continuity being brought back to Ted Kord and his history as well. So, and here's a clear sign. So anyways, he decides to grab the old cosmic treadmill and trace the energy, the radiation that the button has. Batman decides to go along even though he's pretty badly beaten. And as they go through the time stream, we start seeing events that to Batman seem and Barry and the Flash seem to be very, very different from the way they remember. We get the original meeting of the Justice League, the original origin from the 60s, We get identity crisis as well, crisis on infinite Earths. So there's a lot of things that had been lost that might return. I'm not exactly sure how that little plot point's gonna go, but they end up, of course, in the Flashpoint timeline. So now Batman meets Batman. Thomas Bruce gets to see his father, and will continue in Batman number 22 and really in Flash number 22. So this was a much more interesting story. I definitely like the whole tease of those classic elements, the return or the possible return of these classic elements, because they still remember, for example, the original, the meaning of the formation of the Justice League as the one from the New 52 with the whole dark side thing, and so seeing this other origin that might actually be the original was taken away. That I mean, and even Bryce says this might be from our timeline, not an alternate universe, not an alternate timeline from our universe. So that's all those 10 years, all those years that were taken away. So that, I mean, that's probably the most interesting thing I've seen. Like, I didn't actually read Batman number 21. I kind of flipped through it, and thought, not a lot really happened. And then it sold out at my shop, and they were actually selling the lenticular covers. Like, and even they did, I think they were at the cover price when I went on New Comic Book Day. Well, actually went like on a Thursday, not on Wednesday. Not on Wednesday, because usually they put the books out on Wednesday afternoon or evening, around 6:30, 7:30. So they actually extend their business hours, about an hour more. It seemed that it was on regular cover price, but then then I went on last Saturday, and that was sold out. The whole, the two regular, the cover and the variant, and the leftover lentils were actually selling it for about 235 pesos. That's about, I don't know, 20. It's about $10. And this week, the lenticular for this one was still there. I actually had to go to the counter to pick it up. The lenticular for this issue was actually at the same price, 235, about $10, 205 pesos or whatever. I'm saying around 10, probably a little bit higher because it's gone down. But yeah, they actually overpriced it, and it was with the other books, but yeah. So anyways, I'm rambling, and I still have a whole bunch of other books to go through. So moving on to Wonder Woman number 21, The Truth. So I think we have like one more issue left of this one, of this story, I think. So we actually learned that Themyscira's actually in a different plane of existence. It's not really on Earth, but like in a different dimension. Of course, as we know, that Cheetah is back after being turned back to normal. She's back as well, and still, once again being a villain, which is kind of sad. But we finally learned. Actually, we learned that Themyscira is in a different plane of existence. They're actually able to open a portal to where Ares is held captive, and it's surprising because he's like a really young guy. Veronica Cale's daughter gets her face back as well, which is basically what drove her to sort of become a sort of villain, an adversary for a Wonder Woman because of you know Aris's children taking her face away, because they actually wanted I wanted to know where Aris was. He was captured and sent to and became a prisoner in Themyscira, but that knowledge had been taken away from Wonder Woman, if you remember from year one. Uh, so yeah, I think next issue 23 is the last issue for this arc, and Greg Rucka. I mean, he's got one more issue, but at least for his overall larger story of redefining a Wonder Woman. So, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Another book that is a joy to read is, of course, Supergirl being super, which is, a delight. I mean, $6, of which is, like I said, it's worth it. The story is great. The art is gorgeous. I mean, it's just gorgeous art. Things really pick up in this issue. She's still sort of coming to terms with the death of her friend, but finally, like I said, we learned that the coach, and I did mention back with issue 1, that there was something going on with those sort of bracelets that the coach had given them. And that they were actually the cause of of Kara's powers being messed up. She finally remembers that she finally starts to remember her past. We learn that, of course, that her coach was actually some sort of scientist, sort of experimenting with alien life forms, using their powers for to create alternative energy. That those experiments were the cause of the earthquake, which was unusual, and that actually had another Kryptonian as a test subject, and that had been experimented on. Kara finds all these out, saves the Toran. It's Toran. Let me check. Let me see. Tan on. That's the name of the group leader, and she finds Tan on, who now wants revenge, and So actually, it's gonna be very interesting because she might end up really start to embrace her destiny, I guess, as a hero. Because she's gonna have because Tana really just wants to lay it all out on the humans that practically tortured him. So I can't wait for issue 4, and I hope that in the future we get a sequel, because I mean, once this story ends, uh, uh, you know, you wanna have to get more. I mean, more story. There has to be a lot more. I mean, this is just that this does feel like it's a beginning, and really, once I guess she embraces her power, there's gotta be more. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the $6, $5.99, totally worth it. Uh, I don't mind that I had to spend a little bit more this week. I mean, just for this alone, it's worth it. Uh, Finally, and like I said, a book. I picked up a book that's been causing kind of a bit of controversy, which is X-Men Gold. This is issue 2. I actually picked up issue 1 when it came out, and then the whole uh, mess with the artist happened. And he's really a good artist, but he did like the stupidest thing anybody could ever do. Uh, and so, I mean, the whole controversy that this guy started uh, sort of distracts from the actual story of X-Men Gold. But the first issue and this issue, which he still is the artist, as well as issue 3, because bi-weekly book, which is already set out to be printed. So people sort of kind of start ignoring the actual book, and yes, the controversy, unfortunate. I think it did make people angry. I wasn't particularly offended by it, but I'm a cynic. Um, uh, the thing that really did bother me was the fact that this guy just doubled down on what he did. He didn't really apologize for anyone until later. He doubled down. He had his followers, his fans, telling him to buy the book because it was gonna be a collector's item because of future printings will be taking away the thing that he did. So that was like the most offensive part. Whatever he said, nobody really knew about it until it was pointed out. So but like I said, it distracts from the actual story. And so, I mean, for Mark Guggenheim, I really feel sorry for that his story, that people got distracted uh, from his story by this really really stupid artist who did the stupidest thing anyone could ever do. And if he didn't think that he was gonna have face any consequences, well, he was very wrong, and now he's out of a job. uh, so anyways, so X-Men Gold, this is not this is Back to Basics part 2. So last issue ended with the appearance of a new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So this issue just they confront the Brotherhood. They find that a former New Mutant, Magma, was part of the Brotherhood. Um, we also find Mesmeros, the leader of the Brotherhood. They weren't really able to defeat them the first time. The second time the Brotherhood shows up, they kidnap the mayor, I believe, the mayor, the governor of New York. Um, they also take Old Man Logan with them. Uh, Pretty much. Uh, so we have Logan pretty much beating the Brotherhood, calls Kitty Pryde and tells her where they should meet to get the new Brotherhood. Um, Pretty much that's it. It The first issue and this issue really didn't wow me. It didn't wow me. It was, an okay book. It's pretty much as it is back to basics. Uh, it's a very 80s lineup as well. All the closest thing you could get out of a 1980s X-Men book. Um, it's all sweaty now. The curse getting all sweaty now. Um, but it still entertains me. It feels like old times. I'm a huge X-Men fan. Probably the only book I collected from my 10 years as a Marvel fan was both Uncanny X-Men and Daredevil. Between 1999 and 2009, I dropped a whole bunch of books. Was loyal to the Uncanny X-Men and Daredevil. And I'll probably try X-Men books from time to time. I haven't really been following through on Marvel books, and obviously getting to the X-Men is a rabbit hole you sometimes don't want to get into because of the amount of books that come out with the X-Men name. Although they have lost a bit of that way they used to have back in the day of especially in the 80s, which was like the top with Chris Claremont. But Guggenheim is doing a pretty darn good job, at least of milking the nostalgia of that era, I think. But as always, my complaint with Marvel, and like I said, $2.99 for a 28-page book, basically. $4.99 for that 36-page book. For issue one, with flimsy, with really low quality product. You know what I mean? Just holding with my little, unfortunately sweaty hands here. It's already damaged. It's all fingerprints and stuff. So I do. That's like, the only problem I have with Marvel is, I feel like they could do better stories. They could basically go back to base. They could do whatever they want to fix whatever the problem is. But to me, it feels like I'm overpaying for a comic book, which, flimsy cover, like I said, getting all bended and it's not as sturdy as the DC books actually, or any other comic book company. Get 20 pages of story with about 8 pages of ads. Of course, they say they had like the digital code, but still, I feel like I overpay for a Marvel book because it has the same page count that I believe a Dark Horse book has, and some other indie companies provide, but they usually give you better stock for the cover and the inside pages. So I only buy it. So if the story is interesting enough, I might probably continue picking up a Marvel book or this book, but still feels like I'm overpaying for a so-so product. Physically speaking, not so much story-wise, but physically speaking. So again, I'm rambling on. But yeah, those are the books. Oh, sorry. So yeah, those are the books I got this week. Yeah, I mean, this book should be like 299 instead of 299. So those are the new books I got this week. Hopefully, uh, I have some. Hopefully, I can do another video next week with this coming week's books. Supergirl comes out, so that's always a joy to read for me. One of my favorite books. Usually, probably one of the first I read on the first week of every month, and usually because if I get it on time, like my DC books that I get from the other shop, which usually I might probably be picking them up until Saturday, just to make sure they're there. But yeah, so hopefully I get to another video talking comics, and it's getting kind of long, but a bunch of books to talk about. So yeah, I'm rambling, I'm sweaty, and I'm tired. The sun is killing me, the heat is killing me. So I'll just say until next time, keep smiling.